Well, good afternoon. Definitely just became afternoon for those of you who have joined us here today. High noon in Mountain Time here in Greater Albuquerque. Thanks for joining us for today's quick job board training webinar with Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance. This is really meant to be a refresher, a great Q&A for our employers and other partners that are either using this job tool or we hope will be using this job tool in the future. With me, I have a couple of team members with Area, Chad Matheson, our Senior Vice President, and Antonio Granillo with Area as our Senior Analyst. So they're also here to help with any Q&A or conversations in this session today. But we are really going to be focusing on making sure everyone knows about the tool, how to use the tool, and gets a chance to ask us all the questions they want. Thank you all for joining us today. I'd be remiss to ever do a webinar or program without thanking all of the contributors that make our work at Area possible, our community partners, and also our many contributors. There are many more in addition to those that you see on this screen today. These are our bronze and up contributors. So really grateful for you all here. And the wonderful part about our contributors is any contributor company and really any company in the greater Albuquerque region that is creating jobs and wants to promote them is qualified to use our job board at no cost and with our free assistance and support. So we're really excited to do that and excited to be able to do it, quite frankly, on behalf of all of our wonderful community partners out there that are wanting to support their companies and doing so directly and through Area. So I've said a lot already. For those of you that maybe don't know me, I'm the president and CEO of Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance. We serve the 4-county region in work related to business attraction, business retention and expansion, and also all of the things in between that help companies survive and thrive in greater Albuquerque, from thinking about policy priorities that are going to help economic development grow to talent and workforce issues, which is why we are here today. Talent attraction, retention, and expansion are absolutely critical components of what is going on with all of our employers, and not just in our community, but as we know, across the country and globally. So on your screen, as I tease into really our guest speaker who's going to take the bulk of our time with us here today to show us around the tool and educate us and answer lots of questions, please work on your questions. If you have any specific questions, do not be afraid to throw it in the Q&A section of the webinar, and we'll get those answered. If for any reason you ask something we can't answer right away today or is a little more complicated, just throw the Q&A in there with your email and we will get back to you. So hopefully you already have access to or know where to find our job board. But if you wanted to play along with us today and follow along with Scott's tutorial, it is abq.org/jobs, a really, really easy place and location to find our awesome online job board. So with that, I love handing over the reins and having to do as little work as possible. And I'm really thrilled. Scott has been, I think, a colleague and a partner. I've had the great opportunity to work with him as the co-founder and CEO for TrueJob, possibly as far back as close to 2015. Scott, you all were doing amazing work creating this new job board tool specifically for economic development agencies. I was fascinated by it, and I think I kind of vowed that I would want to have this tool in any economic development agency I ever worked in and led, because of the wonderful resource it offers. And it's a great tool that we can guarantee are only real jobs from real employers. None of those weird listings or junk out there. These are really cultivated. So with that, thrilled to have you here with us. Everyone, please give an air clap round of applause. I know we can't hear it from anyone, but a welcome to Scott. And Scott is going to take over sharing function and walk us through what the tool is, how it works, all the little unique nuances, then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle, for that wonderful introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here today and show off to the Albuquerque area this great tool that I've been building along with my co-founder for the past almost 10 years now. So as Danielle mentioned, we're going to start out right on the page that she outlined at the beginning, which is abq.org/jobs. So I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. Let's go over here. So hopefully everybody can see the screen in front of me. I am on abq.org/jobs, and you can also find it if you can't remember that URL by going to abq.org. And in the livability section, there is a jobs drop down that you can choose here too as well. But if you are an employer wanting to post jobs to the abq.org website, the first place you're going to want to be is this website. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see the job postings listed here. But the big thing that you're going to look for is this big button called click here to sign up as an employer. And when you click that, what you're going to see is you're going to be taken to a sign-up form that looks something like this. You'll know you're on the right sign-up form because it'll say you are signing up for TrueJob through the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance job portal. So if it just says signing up for TrueJob or it doesn't say the area or Albuquerque region, make sure that you clicked the right link on the abq.org website. And after you fill this information out, your first name, last name, email, password, and password confirmation, you'll be creating an employer account. And so what happens is when you sign up, you will get an email to your employer email that asks you to confirm your account. Then afterwards, you'll set up your organization and start to post job postings. So we'll do a little bit of that today, but I'm going to kind of move a little bit around here as I've already set up an account for us today. So when you initially sign up and are able to log in, the first thing that you'll do is set up your organization. And the organization setup will look something along these lines. You'll put in your company name, you'll put in your website URL, you'll put your company size, you can put in a NAICS code if you want. It helps kind of with the portal being able to identify different industries that the companies that are signing up are in, a company description, a company logo, and the current address of the company. This can be used heavily by ABQ to determine whether a job posting is within the area that they're looking to target. So for example, if you have a company and you put your current address is somewhere in Michigan, which is where I'm located, you might not be approved for the Albuquerque job portal because you're not near Albuquerque. So once you create your organizational profile, what you'll be sent to is a dashboard that looks similar to this. And with this, you'll have plenty of access to the different pieces that you'll need in order to successfully post a job posting to the Albuquerque website, along with see other details and analytics that will help you as an employer hire better in your area. So let's first talk about posting a job posting. So on the employer dashboard, you can see that on the left-hand side, we have a job posting sidebar item. So let's click that. And you can see that I've already posted a test posting here, but we'll create a new one here just so you understand all the steps involved. So up here in the top right corner, we'll click New Job. And you can see here that we can enter in a job title. We can enter in a job description with any bold formatting, italics, links that we need. We can put a salary information in there if we want. We can put a job expiration date up to 90 days from the day of the job posting. We make job postings expire because we want job postings always to be fresh. One of the things that frustrates job seekers is that they go to a job posting that they get really excited about, they click on it, and the job posting has already been filled or has already expired and isn't kind of quite active. And so it's important for us that we have all employers set an expiration date, and they can set it up to 90 days in the future just to make sure that these things always stay fresh. You can choose whether the job is a part-time or full-time. If you choose full-time, that's all you have to do. And if you choose part-time, you can enter in the minimum hours of week and maximum hours of week that the job posting might entail. Not all part-time jobs are equivalent. Something that is 28 hours a week is very different from something that is 5 hours a week. And so we wanted to delineate that here. Now, you can get applicants through TrueJob. And so if you're a small employer, you can receive applicants and manage your applicants, and I'll show you that in a second. But if you're a larger employer, perhaps you already have an applicant tracking system that you have on your website, and we support that too as well. And so in order to link someone to your job posting on your website instead, you as an employer will choose the second option, direct applicants to a website, and you'll put your website in there, slash maybe jobs and maybe like a iSIMS link or a JobVite link or something along that nature. Under the address section for your job posting, you'll put the location where the work will be done, and especially relevant in these past few years after COVID, you can check a checkbox if you're willing to accept remote workers along the way. And then at the very bottom, you'll see the places that you will be posting your job posting to. So in this case, the main one that you'll be posting to will be the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance portal. And so you'll want to make sure that this is just checked yes. It's checked yes by default, but in case you accidentally click on it, just look for post here yes, and you'll be all set. Now, after you post your job posting, you will, on your dashboard for job posting, see where it's been posted to and what the status of it is. In this case, the job posting that I've already posted has been approved by the Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance, which means that if I click this link here, I would be sent to it. But I've marked it as inactive currently because I didn't want a test job posting showing up live on the ABQ website, of course. But if we click this link, this would take us to ABQ, and it would specifically link us directly into the job posting, similar to if I copied this link here, where it's abq.org/jobs, job equals financial consultant, Eastside, Albuquerque. You, of course, as I mentioned before, can manage your applicants on TrueJob. So as you get applicants that apply to your job posting, if you don't have an applicant tracking system, this is a great place to view them and accept them and get in contact with them. And if not, again, you can direct them to your own website and have them go through your own applicant tracking process. The final thing that I wanted to kind of mention that I think is pretty cool is that we provide free analytics out of the box for your job posting that could really help you understand what works and what doesn't work about your job. So for example, I'm going to switch tabs here a little bit and click on this demo job that I have here. And you can see that not only can I see how many times the job posting has been viewed in the last week as an employer, I can see how many people have clicked apply. And in fact, job seekers can actually choose keywords within the job posting that you've posted and like and dislike them. And so, for example, if a job seeker maybe dislikes the word thought leader in your job posting, that might give you a hint to go back to it and edit it and make sure that the wording is perhaps more friendly than business-like. You also get some basic details like how your job description for your job posting in your industry compares to others in the same area, along with the readability score as well. You want readability to be obviously high, so that way people read through your entire job posting and that leads to better applicants too. And of course, here at the bottom of your job posting, you'll be able to see your applicants, what status they're in, and you can accept or decline them, at which point you can reach out to them and schedule next steps in the interview process, maybe interviewing with the HR manager or with the founder of the company or anything along that lines. That is a whirlwind tour of some of the functionality within TrueJob, but there's a lot more here that I'd love to be able to show. But I think that would be enough for me now before looking to some Q&A to see what people have questions on, what was confusing, what I kind of jumped over too fast, and kind of move it from there. So with that, I'll take any questions or any thoughts or anything that people want to mention.
Let's see, Scott. We have a polite audience. I'm not seeing any big questions so far. But just curious if you've seen any big differences in trends and activity or usage of the way folks are marketing to potential talent now. And I do want to just comment, that additional feature on full-time, part-time, all of that is very useful. And we're going to be trying to leverage that, as well as things like whether there's a hybrid schedule opportunity for employees and leverage that in work that we're doing in Greater Albuquerque for things like spousal employment, et cetera.
Well, to your question about what trends have kind of been happening in the job search area over the past couple of years, I think the biggest one has been the move to remote work, and then a little bit back from remote work. And so we're adding a filtering very soon that helps really differentiate remote work from not remote work. And I mean that in a couple ways. One is that when people say you can work remotely, they can mean a lot of different things. They can mean that you can work fully remotely from across the globe, no matter where you're at, and that's what remote means for them. Others mean that you can work remotely, but maybe just you have to be within X amount of miles of the main location of the company, so that way you can come in for maybe annual meetings or retreats or things like that. And then some people mean partially remote. In other words, you can be remote 2 days a week, but then you have to kind of come into the office a few days more. And because of this mix of different versions of remote and not remote, we're seeing a lot more job postings that are trying to make sure that they can finely tune between all those different values. And so I think that's going to be one of the most important things that we're adding in this year to help with that. So that'd be the answer I give you off the cuff.
Yeah. That's really exciting. And I can tell you, as as an employer and talking to others, there's nothing worse than seeing a great resume and finding a candidate you're excited about. And then, they ask, well, can I work fully remote? And if the answer is no, then they go, okay, well, never mind, or vice versa, so it's always unfortunate to waste anybody's time or get your hopes up if it's not a match because of lifestyle requirements or other needs or expectations of the role. Scott, you work with a lot of other economic development agencies, and you've seen a few of them do some really creative things to leverage, this job board and the tool and really think about it from the perspective of the talent. I know we had talked recently about some of those examples. Could you just, and one of them was, you said you had to really, really have buy-in with the economic development agencies as well as the employers. Could you tell me a little bit about that kind of case study example we discussed and something that for area to consider in working with our partners?
Sure, yeah. The example that comes to mind is in this past year, we've recently developed a resume database. But both a resume database and a job board take a lot of work to curate and make work effectively. And I mean that in the sense that a job board and a resume database is almost like a little community. And it's hard for technology just by itself to run a community smoothly. You need a lot of people working very hard to make sure that the community stays engaged, that people are doing thoughtful things and posting appropriate, for example, job postings or resumes and things along that nature. And so, we worked with a few economic development organizations across the United States where they had great success with a job board, but a resume database was a little bit trickier just because they had to switch their mindset a little bit, right? Because the needs of an employer and job postings from an employer differ from the needs of a job seeker and job and resumes that they post to their resume database. And so some of them had to kind of rework their flows where before they could kind of reach out to somebody, usually like a HR manager at an employer, and say, hey, come post jobs on our platform. And the HR manager said, sure, yeah, we'd love to do that. But with job seekers, you have to make sure that you reach out to them. And then a lot of times they fill a job but forget to pull down their resume from the resume database afterwards. And so a resume database kind of requires a good amount more engagement to make sure that resumes are fresh, that employers are seeing candidates that are still looking for jobs, and things along that nature. And so we're continuously building out better functionality with the resume database to make this easier as well for the economic development organizations, because we know that extra work can mean the difference between success and failure, and we want to help them in any way possible to make sure that it's a success. So that would be something, a story I've mentioned at least from the past year.
That's fantastic. Well, we're definitely going to experiment with that opportunity and continue to see if that's a tool or an option for some of our partners. We've got great folks out in the community. One organization that comes to mind is called STEM Boomerang, and they're or I think they've converted to just Boomerang. And the whole idea is, how do they bring former New Mexicans who have left the state back into the community? And so I'm certainly hoping that this job board will continue to be a resource that they can put directly in front of those folks, that they have personal personal relationships with and are collecting resumes for, and just using this as a CAN tool. Scott, one of the questions that I have gotten, or comments that I have received from our employers in the past that have used the tools, we've reached out and said, hey, how's your job board usage going? And I've received at least one response that said, well, I don't know. I don't think anybody's applied to my company because of your jobs board. And there's a reason for that. And if you want to explain the technical pieces, and I know if you're really tech savvy, you can probably track that. But my response to them has been, well, what we're doing is raising awareness and promoting your job, because correct, if they're not applying through our system, if they're being taken away to their website, they may not know unless they're asking them. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'll explain a little bit by sharing my screen briefly again and kind of going through some of the nuances here. So let's edit our job posting that we recently just created, and let's talk specifically about this how to apply section. So as I mentioned before, you can have applicants be accepted on the TrueJob platform, but again, many large employers decide that they actually want to direct them to their website. And so this will be, I'll just put TrueJob.com for now, but imagine this is your own employer website. This is jobs, and then job ID is equal to 123 or something like that, right? And so when the job posting shows up here, the button says apply on the company website, and the link is directly to that job posting on the company website. But the main challenge here is that the link that we'll send you to will be this exact link, and you might not be able to tell directly that we were able to send you directly from the ABQ website because this is the link. And so as a savvy tech person, you can find new params that you can add into the end of your URL to know whether TrueJob has been able to drive you traffic by adding something like and TrueJob is equal to true at the end of your URL. And so now when you look at your analytics, or if you have an analytics member on your team, they can check out their Google Analytics and see some of the source params, and they'll be able to see exactly how many people clicked through and came from TrueJob via this TrueJob is equal to true param. And so it's we're going to make this easier too as well along the way, but we have seen that when you look at the analytics, you can still see the views on the dashboard of how many people viewed it and how many people clicked apply and were sent to the website. But once they're at your website, it is kind of more in you as an employer's control versus TrueJob's. And so that's where attribution becomes fuzzy. And so adding that little param at the end could be a way that you can know whether or not this came from Albuquerque and TrueJob or from another source. So I'll stop sharing there, but hopefully that made sense.
Awesome, Scott. And that is very helpful. And I think really the answer is as far and as wide as you can get any job opportunity out in front of candidates in this day and age is what you need to do. So, never stop pushing it out there and never stop promoting. So thank you so very much. Well, with that, I appreciate everyone's audience today. I would like to wrap up with a few more little closing comments for everyone that's watching and everyone that hopefully will potentially watch this recording for tips and tricks in the future. So speaking of that, Scott was just showing you those analytics. One more reason to promote your jobs on our jobs board is we also at Area are promoting them online. We're doing that in organic ways, meaning putting it on our social media, in our newsletters, out to all of our partners. We are also launching paid advertisement tools. So imagine us paying to advertise an engineering job in front of engineers outside of our market so that they start looking at opportunities here and thinking about coming in, as well as to our local folks. And this is just a quick example of just in Q1, some of the jobs with our partners that we actively created, really fun graphic designs and promotions, as you see here, to really get the word out and show everybody what's going on at their firms and get them to click back. So these are on our LinkedIn, these are on our Facebook and our Instagram as well. Another really great tool that we want employers to be thinking about that goes hand in glove, and the jobs board can also be found at this microsite, is live.abq.org. Live.abq has been created as a landing platform specifically designed to speak to individuals that are thinking about having a career and a life opportunity in the greater Albuquerque region. Folks that are thinking about that job here and then going, boy, I wonder what it's like to live there. What about schools and education? What kind of neighborhood could I live in? What do those costs of living look like? We actually have a free cost of living comparison calculator to any market in the US on this site. Again, healthcare, education, other resources in the community. We're continuing to add content to this all the time. So we hope that you will utilize this as a recruitment tool. Again, information about housing and neighborhoods is a lot of fun. We're looking to build that up more with our real estate partners. There's even a really fun Quizlet tool where people can go onto the site, answer a few questions about their preferred lifestyle, commute patterns, housing design, and they can figure out what neighborhood is most suited to them in our market. We have a very cool and very free program coming up on May 30. It's actually going to be, I believe, at Rio Bravo Brewing, but if you do register online, you'll see the location today. This is very cool because we will be unveiling the 4th edition. We've done this for 4 years and updated the content and data annually in partnership with CBRE Albuquerque, on this wonderful talent and industry profile publication. It really truly is the most comprehensive document outlining educational data points, competitive position for our market. What does our workforce profile look like? What are some of the really unique aspects and characters of our community? What are some of the benefits that can be offered to people moving here? So, for example, our lottery scholarship and free college tuition for all, as well as incentives and hot housing markets and all the information you would need if you're relocating as an individual or an employer. So please come to this event. We're going to have a national economist flying in specifically to add commentary to what's going on. It's a casual setting. Did I mention free? There's a cash bar if you want to have, if you want to support your local brewery that we're holding it at. And then the report after the event will be free for download online. An area is an Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance, meaning we convene folks on a regional basis. So please, please save the date. Registration is going to be out extremely soon, in the next couple days even. On June 27, we're going to be having a luncheon, but then that luncheon will be followed by asking our partners and friends to engage in some breakout session discussions to help continue to guide our implementation of Area 1.0 strategic plan. And a huge piece of that, as you see, the key topics we're going to be talking about: site readiness, infrastructure, so we can actually get companies built on the ground, talent attraction, quality of place, and really importantly, what is our regional business brand? Because if we can't promote that and articulate it to outside entities, then it's really hard for them to know what they're getting if they're coming to Greater Albuquerque. Last but not least, if you want to help be a voice and push all of this out externally for us, outside of our market, but also within the Greater Albuquerque market, if you want to be an ambassador, not just for area, but really truly an ambassador for Greater Albuquerque, please consider signing up and expressing your interest. We are revamping this program. They're doing very cool things like having the opportunity to do behind the scenes tours of businesses, sit down and get deeper dive educational sessions on economic development 101 and how these things work. So many opportunities for greater engagement and support, and hopefully in a fun way as well. Thank you, everyone who joined in today. And I want to thank you again, Scott. You know, what's really great, having a tool like this on our website is awesome, but also having direct access to the co-founder and the CEO is pretty cool. A lot of times you buy software and tools and then you never hear from them again, or it's a faceless name to an info box. So kudos and thank you for being such an engaged partner in this product designed to help economic development.
Thank you, Danielle.
Okay. Anybody has any questions offline, please feel free to give us an email. Thank you all. Thank you, Scott, and have a wonderful day.